Hello everyone, and welcome back to the last video of the SmartCatalog series. This is going to focus on the workbox for reviewers. So in the previous video, we focused on the workbox for editors, and that also applies to reviewers because as reviewers, you can also edit the catalog, which means that the workbox for editors is relevant to you. But this is specific to the reviewer side of the reviewer role. So kind of taking edits from editors and pushing them forward to approvers and then eventually on to publication. So we're going to be looking at that a bit in here. So I guess we'll get started. I will present my screen and get that rolling, and then I will take myself out. Perfect. Just in case the lighting gets a little weird. All right, so over here, I have a tab open with SmartCatalog already opened. I have my approver account, which is actually my reviewer account, already signed into. So we're good to go. When you're a reviewer, if you want to access either your editor section or your reviewer section, you go straight to the workbox. And if you watch the previous video, you'll know that if you're an editor only, you'll see just editor as a section here. Whereas because reviewers have editing access and reviewing access, you will see both the reviewer section, and if you scroll down, you'll see the second editor section. So just like with the editor, role in the editor section, you get your items listed individually, and they each have their information, such as the title of the item, the last change, what the change was, and what the date was of the last change, and any comments. So if you recall from the last video, I did have a comment for the bioethics certificate where I said I added text regarding the certificate. So as an editor, I added that comment, sent it on to the reviewer, which is me, and then as a reviewer, I can see that comment from my editor self. So that's good to know, good to keep in mind when you're writing those comments, your editors and your reviewers will see them. So you can also notice that beneath each of these items is a series of commands, and they are very similar to the editor section. But you'll notice that there is one that is slightly different. So preview is also in the editor role. If you click on it, it previews that specific item as it would look like to the public. It is not published, but this is just what it would look like. So you can kind of see, you won't see exactly what the edit was, but you'll see the page as a whole. So now I'm going to go back and look at open. So if I click on open, it actually opens that item in a content editor window within Workbox, which means that you can lock and edit it and start going to town. You can edit anything that you think should have been edited, any typos, add anything if you don't want to send it back to the editor and you want to do it yourself. Once you're done with that, you can, if you made any changes, you can save and close it, or if you don't even want to make any changes, just click the X at the top. That was open, and the next one is Diff, which actually shows you the compare versions tool. So I think a better example of this would be the bioethics certificate, considering I did make changes. So I can actually see in two columns. The left side is version 2, which is what the editor worked on. As I can tell right here behind it, it says version 2. And then on the right is version 1, which is the published version that the public can see. So I can see the content has changed because it's highlighted blue, and I can see they added that text. Everything else is the same because nothing else is highlighted blue, but that text at the top is, which means that that's the edit they made. So that's how you can double check. You can also see return to editor and draft, which is specific to the reviewer role. And if you click on that, you can also put a comment like the editor did to push it on to you. You could say review the text in the content field might not be relevant. So just kind of giving some context as to why they should review it. Maybe they should delete something. And once you click OK, it is gone. It is back to the editor role, and they will have to make any changes and then send it back to you for approval. But then the next one is send to approver, which is actually the next level above reviewer. And eventually it gets to admins who then publish it. So set it for publication so that the public can view it. So we have our last 3 items here. I can check 2 of them, I can check all of them, and do a bulk send to approver, but that does not let you add comments, as we saw in the last video. So if you do choose to do it one at a time, you will see the comment box. If you do choose to do a bulk send to approver or send to approver selected, then it will not give you the option to add comments. So just keep that in mind. But that will send it on to the next level, and it takes it out of your workbox, which is super important because, as I mentioned earlier, if you keep things in your workbox, no one else can edit them. So you want to send them out of your workbox so that they can be closer to publication. These last two are just little notes to admins. So admins, please remove this version, asks them to remove version 2 from the catalog, and then please delete from catalog means delete this item pretty much. You probably won't be using those, but they are options in case you do need to indicate to admins that these versions should be removed or deleted entirely. So just as a quick recap, Preview, Open, and Diff are the same as you see in the editor section, and we talked more about them in the editor section. Because I am also editor of this specific certificate, it went back to me, but this is what would happen. If you were the editor, you would get this comment back. But those first three are the same as the editor role, and then specific to you as the reviewer is the return to editor in draft and send to approver. So both of these remove the item from your workbox and move it back to the editor or onto the approver, depending on which one you select. And hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight into what SmartCatalog is about, how to navigate it, and hopefully how to get the catalog all reviewed and ready for 2020-2021. So as always, if you have any questions about how the catalog works or something's not working and you have questions, you can contact the help desk and I will get back to you. And then if you have any questions about the curriculum approval process or the catalog in general, you can contact the registrar's office. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We're super happy to be able to give you guys these instructional videos, and hopefully they are good enough for going forward. So good luck, everyone, and have a great day.